This is Jonathan with Resaleworld Technical Support, and this is a video on how to use the Liberty 4 Consignment item entry app on your iDevice. The first thing we're going to do is open the item entry app here. We are then going to tap into the username field and type in our username. If the username is already filled in, move on to the password area, and then type in your password. Once you're done with that, tap the submit button located at the bottom. This is the main account search screen. It is perfectly natural for the screen to be empty as we have not searched for an account just yet. We are going to cover the menu options that are available on this screen first before searching for an account. Let's tap on the folder icon at the top right of your screen. We're going to start with Add Client. Tap on Add Client. This is where we're going to add our first client through the item entry app. And this replicates what we would do through Liberty if we were adding an account. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to fast forward creating my own account, just so that way we can speed things up a bit. Now that we have our account information added, we're going to tap the Submit button at the bottom. Now, we'll move on to this screen in a few. We're actually going to go back and cover the menu options. So the next menu option that we have, after we tap the folder at the top right, is the item lookup feature. So let's go ahead and tap the item lookup feature. With item lookup, you can either take a picture of the tag, which will take you to the actual item, or you can type in the account-item number in the item lookup field here. You tap the I to the right, and that will actually give you the research results for that item. And you can tap the results at the bottom. In this case, we have 0 results, and it will take you to the item. We're going to go back here. The next option in the folder area, if we tap it here, will be the Edit Settings button. Here we can control all the default settings for the Liberty Item Entry app. The first one we're going to start with is the Show Net for Consigned Items. If you tap the little I to the left of the option, it'll give you a little informational dialog box. For this option, we can choose to turn the Net to Consigner for consigned items on or off. We simply tap the button to the right. It will actually turn to green if we're on, and then we tap it again to turn it off. The next option is the default category view. By default, we have it set to top 20, which means it is the last 20 categories in the item entry app that have been used. Otherwise, we would use the tree view, and the tree view is just the standard view for what categories you wish to use. The item edit field allows us to see all the additional options under the extended tab. We can change different options in here, whether we want to see them or not, by just tapping on the option. Checkmark means it's on. Uncheck means that it's off. So for instance, I just checkmarked allow donate and retail price. We see the checkmark to the right, which means these options are now viewable in the extended options area. I'm going to uncheck retail price and go back. The next option is print tags after entry. Clicking the little informational box here, this allows us to display a prompt to print the tag after we enter the item. The next option we have is to skip price during the entry or item entry process. This allows us to simply not enter in a price, so that way we can do it when we get on the computer if we prefer that method better. And of course, the same option, we just turn it on or off if we wanted to show the option, or not turn it off if we don't want it. The next option we have is default camera source. This is dependent on whether we want to take the pictures ahead of time and store them into our library, or whether we'd rather take them on the fly, where we can just, as we're entering the item, we can take a picture of the item. So when I tap this option here, we can either select the library, which allows us to pull from the iPad, or we select the camera, which allows us to take a picture of the item on the fly. Going back here. Next, we have whether or not we want to change the camera resolution. By default, we're set to medium, And medium tends to be the sweet spot when it comes to images. It's big enough to just be perfect on the re-commerce side. In the event that you want to go ahead and increase the resolution or decrease it, you can go everywhere from low, medium, high to max. But our recommendation is to leave it on the medium option. Next, we have whether we want to save the camera images to our roll located on the iPad. Clicking the informational button here so that you can see. This allows us to save any pictures that we take with the iPad for the intention of adding them to inventory and Liberty for future viewing and for backup purposes. The next option we have is to whether or not we want to auto start Wi-Fi. This is by default turned on. Wi-Fi doesn't take any data, so naturally it's easier just to use the Wi-Fi to connect to the Liberty database and input images. The auto start 3G, 4G, our recommendation is actually to leave this off. If your iPad does 3G or 4G, depending on the size of your images, it can eat up quite a bit of data. This is why we recommend this option be turned off. Tapping this option off to reflect this. Moving on, we do have the badge number. That's simply used as a visual identifier to let you know if you have any images in the queue that need to be uploaded. You would simply open the app, and the app would then upload the images. We can prevent the auto screen lock from tying up our image upload process. So when we flip the switch on this, turning it on will stop the auto lock from coming on to the iPad, which can prevent the iPad from pushing up images. And then turning it off, of course, would allow the auto lock to come back on for privacy purposes, which may be important. The next option we have is we want to display a notification whenever all images have been uploaded. This is kind of like a global notification for when the images are uploaded. Next, we have current item images uploaded. This is for the item that we're currently working on if we want to have a notification for when the image is finished uploading. In the event that we wish to change our password, we can tap the Change Password button. We tap into the old password field, we would type in our old password, and then continue through the prompts to confirm our new password that we're going to be using. Tap the Submit button when you're done, and that change will take effect. I'm going to tap the Close button here to go back to the last screen. The next option we have is the ability to change the number of clients that are displayed on the screen. So if you have a lot of clients, the max is 50. And the smaller the number, the faster the program actually loads up for the number of accounts that are displayed on the screen. And it looks like we're done with the settings area, so I'm going to hit the Done button here. I'm going to tap the Folder button to go through the next option. And it looks like final option is the About button, so I'm going to tap the About button real quick. And this gives us some basic information about the creation of our Liberty Mobile app. Going to tap the Done button at the top again. Now we're going to move on to actually searching for accounts. When we're searching for accounts, we can type in the first letter of the first name, first letter of the last name, the phone number, the account number itself, or we can even do the city, and that will be a searchable option. So right now I'm typing in A, and we're going to see Angel's name and Alex's name pop up. So these are pretty much all the people with A as the first name, or first letter, I should say. I'm going to go ahead and type in my name and pull up the account that I created earlier in this video. So we're going to open up account number 52. This is our main display page, which at the very top you notice it shows what is payable. Looking at the account information, we have over to the left the account number, first name, and last name. Over to the right, we have the address. We can click the map option there, and it'll actually open up Google Maps to show us where this customer is on a map. Very handy. Going back to the item entry app, at the top left, we can tap that, and that just should take us back. Over towards the bottom, you'll see the email option. We can tap the email button, and if we have email set up on our iPad, we can send this customer a quick email. either letting them know that they have something that they need to pick up, or anything about their contract. We're going to go over the folder options in the account screen, or I should say on the client screen. We can edit this client. Any information that we've entered in for this client, we can just rename it here and change it. First name, last name, anything we've entered in originally can be changed. To change this, we would tap the field, change with the information in the box, and then we just hit submit, and then that information will update on the account. We're going to tap on the folder option at the top here. We are going to skip over add item, as that's going to be its own section in this video, and we're going to move on to the email item list. I'll tap that. For this option, we can select which email item list we'd like to use based on whether or not we want the description of the item to show up, or just a regular item list email, or even just the sales. Go ahead and hit done on this. We can choose the item numbers from and through. Once we're done selecting that, we can hit the email button. It's important to note that this option uses your email settings on your server. So if those aren't set up properly, it won't work. Moving on, we can view the transactions on the account. Under the View Transactions option, we can see the number of transactions that were used on the account, the total due, the total from items, and so on and so forth. Next option underneath the folder here, we can view the notes on the account, which is located on Account tab 1. You should see a Notes tab within there. I believe that's a tab 7. And any of those notes will appear in the list, and you can view them at any time here. I'll hit Done again. Next, we can quickly go over to the Edit Settings area. It's kind of like a quick shortcut rather than having to go through it on the normal menu for the Account tab. So we're going to tap Edit Settings, and this is the exact duplicate area that we were in before, except we can get to it from the actual Client tab. And go ahead and go back into Done. We'll tap this again, and again there's the About tab. But Add Item here, if you tap it here, is the same thing as the Add button down here. So we're going to use this button instead. It's the same option. Starting with the category, and we're just going to fetch the details. So the first thing it starts off with is the top 20, and again you can control whether it's the tree view or the top 20. The top 20 is the last 20 categories used through the item entry app. So this might be empty until you start using it. The other view that most people would use is the tree view. Now this is what you would see in Liberty when you're actually going to the category list. And this is usually the preferred method if you wanted to see everything. So I'm going to go ahead and select a category here. I'll probably end up using men's apparel first. Once that's loaded, I'm going to use shoes and footwear. And then I'm going to select probably dress shoes. Okay, it's going to immediately take me to the Attributes tab. In the Attributes, these are again the top brands that are used, usually the top 20. I'm going to select Lucky. Once I tap that, it's going to give me another tree view where I can see all the different brand, shoe size, color, pretty much any attribute that you would normally see. So I'm selecting shoe size right now. I'll probably go with the size 15. And then I'm going to move over to color. And I'll select black. So from here I can either go on or to the next one or go to the next step. So I'm going to tap next step. Here is where we can actually select the price. Now, you'll notice it says no data is available. We can tap the price in, but you have low, average, and high prices based on the sales history on this item. So it can help you send it can help you select the trend of what you're selling the item at. So right now I'm going to put in, I think $45 will do for this pair of dress shoes. Okay, and we'll move on to the next step here. And tap next step. Okay. And then the next option we have here is to type in our description. Usually the title will just carry over whatever we have for our attributes. So I'm going to put in the description here, probably Dragon Design something that the attributes would not normally describe, so something additional. And keep in mind the description is really the only thing that prints out on the tag, at least on this screen. The attributes will print out depending on if you select the proper tag style that includes the attributes. So we'll do drag and design, standard fit, and standard laces. All right, so from here we can either save the item or we can actually take a picture of the item. Library would be, look at the pictures that are already on the iPad. I'm going to select camera, and then I'm going to actually click, so we can move from library to camera. I'll select camera, and then we can actually tap the camera icon here. And this will actually open up the camera on the iPad. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick picture of my mouse. I know it's not a shoe, but it'll get the point across. Once I tap that, you'll notice that you can use the photo at the bottom or retake. I'm going to select Use Photo at the bottom right. Okay. And now we can move on to the Extended tab. So from here we can change all different types of fields and things that we would normally see in Liberty, but wouldn't display during the normal item entry process. So in this case, we have like the purchase method, which I can select store owned, trade, purchase, or consign. I'm going to leave it on consigned for now. Selecting done would apply the setting that we selected. We can also change the marketplace on the item so that it can either go to shoprw or Shopify or eBay. So we're going to hit done at the top here. And we can add anything else we want to these fields. Once we're finished with this, we're going to tap the Save Item button here. And it will go ahead and upload the item to the database at this time. We should get another prompt. It said, would you like to add another item? We're going to hit done, but you can continue through the process if you need to. You need to add another item. And then finally, we'll get a prompt if that option is enabled to print the tag for the item we just added. For now, I'm going to hit no. Next, we're going to cover how to edit specific options for individual items. So to do this, we're going to tap and hold the item that we wish to edit, and we're going to get a little menu option if we've done this correctly. The first one we're going to cover is the Item Detail button here. And for Item Detail, there's even more options under Item Detail, but this is just a general view of what is located on this item or what is attached to this item. So we'll see the image or images, we'll see the price, item fee. We don't edit any of this information just yet. I'm going to go ahead and tap the Close button. I'm going to tap and hold the item again. We're going to select Print Single Tag. And as long as the printer is seen by the server, we can actually print tags from the iPad. So I can select the tag printer, and if my tag printer is in the list, I can select it as well. It'll default to whatever the Liberty mobile account is set to on the computer. We can select the tag format, and again, this is the selected tag styles that are attached to the Liberty mobile user account on the computer as well, or I should say on the server. Tap done here. We can put in the item number from or through, which in this case is just 1. It's automatically filled in. We can filter on the current user so we don't print anybody else's tags. And then we can select the print button to print the tag. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this option. We're going to tap and hold the item again, and we can do a print tag starting from here. So this is a multi-tag print. Same options that you saw in the other menu, except the difference here is we can print from and through. We can actually select more than one tag. Closing out of here, and tap and hold the option again, or the item again. And then we can copy this item as many times as we need to. So for this particular example, I'm going to copy this item 3 times here. So I'll select this field, a number of duplicates, and we're going to type in 3 here. Oops, there we go, 3. And we'll tap copy here. And this is it actually making a copy of this item 3 more times. And the list will then refresh, and we should see 3 more of this single item. There we go. We can tap and hold another item on the list here, and then go over the rest of item detail. So in here, there's even another menu option for the individual item itself. We're going to tap the menu option at the top right here and go over the edit item field here. So this is where we can edit anything we've done to this item, whether it was entered from the iPad or from Liberty. We change the price, we can go back to edit item here. And generally anything that we would normally have access to can be edited from this one screen. Marketplace is also included in here, so we can set whether we want it to go to shoprw, Shopify, or eBay. I'm going to go ahead and go back one here. And finally, custom one field, which allows us to implement UPC codes or other tags that have come with the item. We can type in the barcode in here, and then that should attach itself to the item. So once we're done with this, we can hit the save button. In this case, I'm hitting cancel. Going back into the menu option to cover everything else, we can go to copy item or print this tag, which is familiar. We can also add an image to this item directly from this screen. So it's kind of like editing an item. I'm going to tap camera here, and I'm going to take another picture of a dongle. We'll hit use photo at the bottom right. And then you'll see the screen refresh to show that the image is actually being uploaded to the item. And now we have two images that are loaded, including the mouse that we had before. So from the menu button at the top right, there is one more option that we have control of. That is to delete the item. Now, by default, it's set to a level 10, so you can't really easily just delete an item unless that option is available. So it's going to ask you if you'd like to confirm the deletion. Right now I'm going to hit no. If you hit yes, then this item will simply be deleted from your database. We also have the option to tap and hold the image. We can move the image up so that it goes first prior to the mouse. And you'll see that the USB dongle will actually appear first instead of just the mouse first. There we go. We can tap and hold the other image, and we can delete the image from the actual item. So this is actually going to delete the image from the item. And this concludes the video on how to use the Liberty for Consignment item entry app.